And thank you so much for being with us today. Loneliness can be as bad for your health as smoking up to 15 cigarettes a day. That's an absolutely crazy stat, and that's according to the Surgeon General.
There is good news, of course. There are ways lonely people can improve their health and emotional well-being, and medical reporter Lori Johnson is going to tell us about it.
Like millions of Americans, Ann Hales knows the depression and anxiety caused from feeling isolated.
Well, I was at home, no one there but myself, and it was so lonely I just didn't know what to do.
An introvert by nature, Ann stepped out of her comfort zone by joining a church sewing ministry.
And I've met so many people. My horizons have been broadened, and I don't have that loneliness anymore that I had before. It was terrible.
Ann's story shows how in-person social connection really helps.
Church is what's known as the third place, right behind home and work. People who regularly go to their third place tend to experience less loneliness and have overall better mental health.
Other third places range from clubs to community centers to coffee shops.
This might be going to the small group. This might be adding an accountability group. Or it might just be a conversation on your back porch with a couple friends, as long as you have it regularly.
In his book, Made for People, Justin Early says God's plan involves living in community.
We should understand friendship not as a luxury, but as a necessity to living the good life, physically and spiritually.
He believes the goal of regularly getting together with friends is vulnerability that ultimately leads to intimacy.
There's a difference between looking out into the world side by side, and that's meaningful, and turning to each other and saying, now let's talk about each other.
Don't make the mistake, however, of substituting online connections with the real thing.
There's studies that show that, the receptors in our brain, as we scroll through reels and, we get likes on certain things, there are centers in our brains that light up for that. But that's all short-lived, and all of a sudden we're programming our brain to have these responses from a screen.
Doctors say even a little personal interaction is better than none at all.
It's okay to say hi to a stranger. Just a smile, just a quick hello. You don't know what they're dealing with that day. Not only is it good for your mental health, but it's probably great for theirs as well.
And kids feel lonely too.
It's so easy nowadays for families to come home and they just sort of isolate all separately into their own bedrooms and usually online.
Parents can help by getting kids together with their friends.
Make your home the place that you invite the friends over, buy a bunch of snacks, and maybe they watch a movie, but you got to take the phones out of their hands.
And for inspiration, Americans can look to Israel, which has next to no self-reported loneliness.
Communities don't create rituals. Rituals create communities.
In his book, The Genius of Israel, Dan Senor points out how Israelis bond over regular Hebrew rituals, such as Shabbat.
And if you go walk by any home in Israel on a Friday night, you will see whether they're secular Jews or they're very religious, traditional, observant Jews, they're all doing the same thing. And so there's this weekly ritual that brings people together.
He adds that Israelis see connecting to each other as part of something larger than themselves.
The whole notion of living in Israel is about togetherness and not just about doing whatever you do successfully on your own.
So in America, where many continue to struggle with loneliness, experts recommend a course correction by putting down the phone and prioritizing in-person relationships. Lori Johnson, CBN News.
Friendships are so important no matter your age. And I don't know if you've noticed this, Andrew, but I do feel like in adulthood, though, it seems like we lessen the importance of friendship just because of busyness, and then you have your own families. But obviously, we gotta hang out with our friends,
That's a problem for men. I mean, and probably people are tired of hearing it's said that men have a problem. Men don't use the term loneliness, though.
Okay.
They may say, I'm not with guys enough, or I need to reconnect with my old friends or my current friends. But guys get into a habit of family, work, maybe church, whatever their hobby is, and then they're not spending enough time with guys. And then, just as Lori pointed out, I think everybody knows that too much time on the phone makes the problem worse. And while guys don't say lonely, they often feel like they're not with other men enough, friends.
Yeah, I actually just saw this awesome clip on Instagram recently. I was on social media, but it was such a good reminder, and it was somebody saying that it was actually at their bridal shower where someone spoke and actually quoted something that was talking about, you know, don't neglect having your girlfriends. Like, as a woman, yes, marriage is beautiful, but you also need your friendships, your girls. So men, you guys need each other too. Yeah, absolutely. Friendship is needed.
For sure.
Okay, quick question though. Have you ever made a charcuterie board?
What do you think?
That'd be a no.
Is that, you don't eat it.
No, you eat it.
Oh, you do? Well,
absolutely.
Then I
Oh my goodness. All right, guys. Gathering intentionally is more than just a saying for Katie Helgerson. It is a lifestyle. And with a love for people and community, Katie is helping others create space for friendship and a good meal.
Hospitality is the heart of community. It's more than just sharing a meal. It's about cultivating a space where people feel seen, valued, and truly connected. Coming together around the table sparks meaningful conversations, deepens relationships, and fosters a sense of belonging. Speaker and podcaster Katie Helgerson is the co-founder of Gather Intentional Living, an online platform dedicated to equipping everyday hosts with resources for creating intentional spaces that nurture relationships and meaningful connections.
All right, well, I am so excited to say that Katie Helgerson is here with us live. Katie, thank you so much for being with us today.
To be here.
Okay, oh my gosh, we're gonna have some fun, but first I wanted to ask you a couple questions.
Yeah.
When did your love and appreciation for hospitality really begin?
I was always a kid that loved food and loved being in the kitchen, but I think it was adulthood that made me realize the importance and the need for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you also are very open about your time in Thailand.
For sure.
You and your husband were missionaries in Thailand, and that's when you began to feel really lonely.
Yes.
But then the dream of gather intentional living really started. Talk about that.
Yeah, so it wasn't on my radar at all. Like you said, we were on the missions field. I had a background in social work, and one night I had a really vivid dream from the Lord, actually, about bringing our culture back to the table through hospitality and through this business. And that was really the start of it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, you love to cultivate community and deepen relationships. We were just talking about in adulthood, sometimes that's hard to really cultivate friendship and community.
For sure.
But you have a passion for that. Talk about, how that started.
Yeah, so this loneliness, I started to get really curious. Why? I'm an adult. I was thinking I shouldn't be lonely at this point in my life. Right. I just graduated college, had so many friendships. And so I started to get really curious, and I realized that other areas in my life weren't cultivating really rich connection, but the table was. And so it started my curiosity for hospitality and the impact that it has in cultivating meaningful connection.
Well, you talk about holistic hospitality, and that is a different approach. Can you talk about that? Because you're actually going to show us how we can incorporate that approach to hospitality today.
Sure. So I think that there are three very important pillars to hospitality: food, design, and relationships. And so often we're taught just to approach one of them, but I think when we use all three at the same time, that's when it has the greatest impact.
I love how you talk about it's not about the host, it's about the guest.
Absolutely.
Love that.
I think we get wrong, or when we get it wrong is when the approach is, how does this make me look, instead of how does this make you feel?
I love that. I love that. Okay, girls, so we're gonna create some things. What are we gonna do today?
Okay, so we are creating, I call this board the Romantique Charcuterie board.
Ooh, romantique.
I love that. I know. Yeah. So it has a little bit of a Valentine's look to it, but also springtime. So that's why we're making it today, because we're the start of spring.
Lovely.
Flavors that are very familiar, very easy to get ingredients. So we have a lot of fresh berries, some nuts. Now here's what I love about charcuterie. You can get this almost anywhere. I try to have the ingredients that are very easy to find. You could put it together anywhere, and you could appeal to a lot of dietary needs as well.
Okay, awesome. All right, well, let's get started. Let's do it. And then one thing I want to mention too, this is all part of your set.
Yes.
You sell sets on your website as well. Can you talk about that, and then we can get started?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have this kit on our website. It's called Le Vite Kit. Vite is the French word for fast or quickly.
Okay.
And so it's a kit to have a a very quick gathering.
Beautiful.
So it's 5 pieces for instant gathering. The vase, the pitcher, the board, the cheese knife set, and also access to all 13 of our classes.
It is so beautiful. Can I just say that everything is so pretty, but let's get started on the charcuterie board.
Let's do it.
And you know, Andrew, FYI, I know he's watching. We eat what's on the board, not the actual board. Okay, where do we start?
So there are a few rules to keep in mind.
Okay.
I find that people get overwhelmed with charcuterie. They don't like the end result. Here is an effortlessly beautiful one. 3 colors and 3 different shaped cheeses.
Okay, awesome.
Okay, so we always put the bowl on the board first. So your honey is right there. Any bowl, you're just going to put that down. We have honey. The honey stir we'll put at the end. Now let's go to our brie. So this is our round cheese. Brie could be a little bit soft, so just do the best that you can with it. And I like cutting the pieces into pie-like slices. So we're just going to, just like you would think a piece of pie.
Yes. I love that.
Now, the more people you need to feed, the smaller you can cut them, so you can control it that way. And we're just going to put this anywhere on the board, the best that you can.
I'm just mirroring you.
Yeah, please do. Please do. Space out the wedges the best that you can. And I leave half of it intact, and I put a cheese knife there. I'll show that at the end.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Love that. Okay,
I like a little interactive flair.
Yes,
right?
yes. Okay. So we got the brie. What else?
Now let's go to the cheddar. So as much as you can, I recommend slicing the cheese yourself. Pre-sliced gets a little dry, loses a little bit of flavor.
That's true.
Right?
Yep, yep.
Also, I want to show you the cheddar that we have fits the cracker almost perfectly.
Oh, look at that.
So it makes it a little bit easier to eat, which is very helpful for guests.
Yes. Again, we're thinking of the guest. We're thinking of the guest. I love that.
I use this word eatability, which is totally a Katie word, but
love it. Love
when
it.
you consider the eating experience.
Yeah. We have to. We have to.
Right.
Okay. So where should we put this?
So we cut a bunch of the slices, and I just don't like any very straight, stark lines. So let's. We could actually
on this side.
we could put a few.
Honestly, like putting together a charcuterie is a work of art.
It is a work of art.
It really is. And the ones that I've seen you create are just absolutely stunning. So
thank you. It gives you connection to the gathering too. Yeah,
it definitely does. Yeah.
Creativity is so important.
Okay, let's put this.
So 1 or 2 piles doesn't matter to me.
Okay.
Now with the strawberries, everyone always asks, do I cut the greens off? If they're healthy, I say keep them on. It adds a little bit of a chic factor.
Oh, okay.
A little
we love
elevated.
A chic factor. Yes. Okay, cool. Let's put this over here.
A little more homemade and curated.
I guess if you wanted to, like, you could just cut it a few or something as well. I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Cool. 2 piles of everything. I think is the name of the game.
Okay.
Yeah. So do 2 piles of strawberries.
All right, I'm gonna mirror yours a little
Please
bit more.
do, yeah. I love, see the greens on them? It just makes it a little bit more vibrant, lively.
That's cool, I like that. Okay, awesome. All right, after the strawberries,
Let's
where do we
do the
go
salami.
next?
Now there are so many fun salami trends, but I'm just gonna teach you an everyday.
Yeah, let's do it.
Every day.
Do you do like the rose petal?
Those are so fun, huh?
Okay.
We're not doing that right now.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna say, I don't know if I could do that, but I've seen it.
Okay.
It's beautiful.
So we, I say circle, taco, rose.
Okay.
Circle,
taco,
rose.
Oh, cool. Okay, that's fairly
Isn't
easy
it?
enough. Easy enough. Yeah.
Now, if we do a few of them, the more you do, the prettier it gets.
Oh, okay.
So I'm gonna very quick circle, taco, rose, like 4-ish.
Oh, okay, and then you just
pieces,
kind of like put them together.
And it definitely needs a buddy. It needs a friend. So it needs to be stacked up against something in order to have some structure.
Oh, I love that. Okay. I like to put together a charcuterie board if I'm like having friends over, and so this is helpful because I never know what to do with the salami, like with the meat. So putting it up against something is helpful.
It's almost as simple as just laying it on the board, and it just elevates it a little bit.
Totally.
Yeah, it adds some beauty.
Does. Yeah.
Now, if we're doing the rest of this, let's see. Let's put the chocolate bark down because that adds a little bit of depth of the brown color.
Sweetness.
Yeah.
Okay, and you're putting it around the brie.
Anywhere you would like.
Okay, I see we've got some macarons as well.
Yes, we do. We can get those on the board in 2 different
Now, where
places.
do you recommend like getting some of these things? Like anywhere? You can find them anywhere?
Yeah,
or do you have some favorites?
Yeah, so Trader Joe's is...
Hey, I love Trader Joe's.
is always
Joe's
my
is
favorite,
awesome.
and it's the most cost effective. Costco as well.
Okay,
those are my 2 favorites.
Girl, I love Costco.
So, okay, so you really could add so so many different elements here.
Okay, so we can add some of the berries.
Yep, some of the berries.
Okay, it already looks so pretty.
In areas of the board that don't have any red, I try to keep, I call it color balancing.
Got it.
You want to put
and then we've got
colors
some
together, the crackers.
Pecans, do you say pecans or pecans?
Oh, what do you say?
I say pecans.
I do too.
Okay. Some people are like, that is wrong.
I think it's because we're like East Coast. Is that an East Coast thing?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Okay, where are you? Okay, so you're putting your crackers by
2 different piles.
Okay,
oh, look at
2
you.
different
That's
piles.
gorgeous. But see, I don't know if you could tell, but the 3 different colors, instantly just pulls it together.
It totally does.
And I call that style mosaic.
Oh, I love that. This is beautiful.
Too.
Okay, awesome.
Okay. Oh, the macarons, I forgot.
And I like how there's like some salty, there's some sweet.
Yep.
There's a good variation.
This is a great board for kids, families, girls' night out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Easter. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, this looks so pretty. Okay, so we've got the charcuterie. This is amazing. Look at it's so pretty. I love it. Okay, so we're gonna move on to something else that you love to do when you have people gathering in your home.
Yes.
Infused water, which sounds so simple, but I'm sure it makes such a difference as well.
It does, absolutely. So one of the great things about infused water, you can use fruit in your fridge that you don't know what to do with. You could take fruit off the charcuterie board, so many different directions. It doesn't have to be over the top.
Okay.
So let's just take one of these berries. Again, I'm just going to leave the greens on because there are actually a lot of health benefits in strawberry greens.
Really?
Yeah, they're edible.
Oh my gosh, I didn't even know that.
They're
That's
totally
awesome.
edible. So we could just drop.
Okay, so you put it in another vase first, you pour some water over it, and you let it infuse. So how long do you typically let it infuse?
So as we're talking, I'll fill this with some basil and strawberry, which is my favorite for the season. And I'm just gonna cut, it really doesn't matter how you cut it, but I'm cutting it into thin ribbons.
Okay.
And I put warm water over it for as long as you're preparing for the gathering.
Okay.
2 inches on the bottom with warm water. It extracts the flavor, and then right before your guests come over, fill it to the top, and that flavor is just gonna infuse.
I love that. Okay, strawberry basil, oh my gosh. I feel like that just screams like spring and summer. You know what I'm saying?
And watermelon thyme is my other one.
Ooh, okay. All right, so we can...
Yeah, you want to pour water, and I'll just add a little bit more.
Absolutely.
Maybe halfway
What is another like variation that you like to do for infused water?
So I mean, of course, you have the spa water. That's
the cucumber.
Yeah, cucumber, lime, and mint would be another really refreshing one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Really
so
good.
that's that. So typically, when you're hosting, you let that infuse, and then like you said, right before they come over, fill the rest of it with water.
You know what's great too? You save so much money on all the extra drinks. It's so
No,
beautiful.
that's so true.
It's so special.
So true. So true.
So affordable.
I love that. Okay, so last thing we're gonna do is create a flower arrangement.
Yes.
I love it. Okay, so come over here and help me do this because I don't know where to start.
Okay. Yeah. So similar to the charcuterie board, I want to work biggest to smallest. So there are 1,000 different ways to do this. This is just what works best for me. And so I start with the biggest flowers. So for us today, that's the lilies. You want to pass me some lilies?
Sure. These are, I mean, seriously, the smell of these is phenomenal.
Yeah, and everything is grocery store. Think Trader Joe's, Wegmans, Whole Foods.
Awesome. Okay.
So we do a few of the bigger flowers, double the amount of medium.
Okay. Do you want one more big one?
Sure. Let's do it. Yeah. Let's do 3.
Okay. Awesome. These are big.
Okay.
It's so pretty.
Thank you. Okay, and then let's get the medium ones. I think they're the ranunculus.
These are so beautiful. Seriously, I love these. These are so pretty.
So I start with my big flower. I accent with the medium.
Okay. So then do you want a couple more of the ranunculus?
Oh, I love that we're doing this together.
Okay.
How fun
I
is
know.
this?
This is awesome.
This is great. Okay. So
And
there's
then,
the big, the medium, and what do we have for the small? We have the tulips.
Oh,
Tulips
that's
on
right.
the end.
Yep. Okay. I love tulips.
A lot of people use tape or those grids to put on top of the vase, if you've seen those before.
Yes, I have, yeah.
I say just freehand it.
Okay.
You don't need all the extra
you feel like
supplies.
That's easier?
Yeah,
Okay,
absolutely.
Cool.
Okay, oh, a few tulips.
Those are so pretty.
It's so seasonal, huh?
I know. And
now, we're gonna finish off with the baby's breath and the greens.
Okay. And then the greens, what is this? What is this called?
Can I be honest? I have no idea.
Honestly, it looks like eucalyptus, but it's so pretty.
I buy them frequently, but I am not. I'm an everyday florist, I call myself.
Aren't we all? That's what I am too.
An everyday
so
florist.
Pretty. Oh my
now,
goodness.
as I'm throwing in these, you want to put some greens on the outside. I would love for it to cascade a little bit over the side.
Oh shoot, we're
That's
about to
okay,
knock
we're
this
doing
over.
it. We're doing it together.
Oh, that's pretty. Yay.
It comes together so fast.
Now, where do you usually like to put your flower arrangements when you're hosting?
Everywhere I possibly can.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just
the
to add some, like,
I like having them in the
that's
bathroom, the table, buffet tables. This baby's breath wants to.
That's so pretty. Oh my goodness. Well, Katie, I wish we had more time, but seriously, thank you so much for just showing us these amazing ways we can, you know, approach holistic hospitality. I think what you're doing is making a difference, truly. So thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
And to find out more about Katie's recipes and tips on hospitality, go to her Instagram at Gather Intentional Living or her website, gatherintentionalliving.com.
Long hours and lots of booze. Rob and Diane's successful career came with a heavy price. They knew they needed to make a major change, so they opened DV8 Restaurant, and now they're helping others overcome addiction.
Pretty much our first 10 years of marriage was all about his job and acquiring things and moving up the corporate ladder.
As successful restaurateurs, Rob and Diane Perez were living the American dream. The couple both professed faith in Christ as young people. But the restaurant business came with a lot of stress, long hours, and alcohol use.
It's part of the restaurant culture. Our first dating, everything revolved a lot around drinking and partying, pretty much.
Eventually, Rob's drinking spiraled out of control.
I was becoming more and more reckless with how I drove, chances I would take, people I would spend time with. I went through recovery when I was 25, and Diane helped me all the way through it. I grew to know God and be more in a personal relationship with Christ. And that's such a big tenet of a 12-step program that really has been a vital component of my recovery.
The couple moved to Kentucky in 2003 and opened up several Saul Good restaurants. But the work was still taking a toll.
We had gone through so many things in our marriage and just with moving and acquiring stuff and his jobs that we were pretty done, or I was done doing that whole thing. When our daughter was born, we wanted to get her baptized, and we went to a church here. The very first Sunday we went, I'm not kidding, it was amazing. But I didn't want to say anything like that was really cool, like he was talking to me. And then Rob said to me, clearly we've moved to Kentucky for that church.
In 2014, Diane visited a women's safe house in Cincinnati that opened her eyes to the needs of those struggling with addiction.
God said to me, you and Rob could do this in Lexington. Like, we could open something for the people in the community. And so I came home and I was super excited and told him, I'm like, we need to do this because we have so many people that we've lost to addiction.
Diane got the idea of opening a restaurant that would hire men and women in recovery. They named it DV8 Kitchen. Two of the many lives that Rob and Diane have touched include Jessica and Jared.
My drug of choice became heroin. I lost my family, pretty much. My dad wouldn't look at me anymore. My mom, she just cried all the time. It was like breaking her heart every day. And I was stealing from them.
After Jessica entered a treatment program, she heard about DV8 Kitchen and their Second Chance program.
Coming here to work, it was all about the community and running a good restaurant, having responsibilities and taking care of the responsibilities. I didn't really have any standards, and I didn't know what standards were. Like, I didn't know how to hold standards for myself because I felt like I was nothing.
I was addicted to meth and began smoking it regularly. By the time I was 17, I was looking at a prison sentence, and I was really lost until I got a second chance to my second chance and started working at DV8. But I had behavioral issues here at work. I wasn't getting along with people very well, especially Rob. And he really challenged me to, his exact words were that I needed a bigger shovel. I needed to dig deeper. So I ended up getting into long-term treatment. The whole point is to show society that even though we screwed up and even though we made really terrible decisions and we hurt people, that given the right opportunity and the willingness to take that opportunity and run with it, we can actually be very productive, healthy members and contributing members of society.
Rob and Diane work with local AA and Celebrate recovery programs. Rob even conducts workshops with local businessmen to educate and encourage them on the importance of hiring those in recovery.
What we're trying to do is convince every business in America to hire one person in recovery and learn the terminology. And how are people going to get to reach their full potential if no one will give them a chance unless it's a lower paying job? What about the middle paying jobs? What about the high paying jobs? Because there's people that are in recovery all over.
Rob and Diane say they have finally found their purpose in learning to serve their community and employees, literally.
Our life has been radically changed, transformed. I mean, we're different people, for sure.
I had no idea that Diane's suggestion to try to help people would change the way I think about work. And because we try to apply being good at your job, but trying to help people along the way before you help yourself, and try to bring our faith to work at the same time, it's really changed the way I feel about my job. I'm basically a glorified busboy, and frankly, we don't make much money, but I can tell you that it's the best job I've ever had. I'm more fulfilled, I love it, and it's wonderful.
Rob and Diane, thank you for the example you are setting. That was some piece of advice he told the one gentleman who was an addict. You need a bigger shovel and dig deeper.
Wow.
I mean, there's some tough love there, I guess, but what a key component of ministry there. When people come out of addiction, then what? How do I rebuild?
Exactly, and so many people who are formerly incarcerated have a hard time finding a job, and so I think it's amazing that they are helping those as well. Just have a job. And there's something about working with your hands too that is healing. I know, like when I cook, I find it just, I don't know, like almost like meditative in a way. So I think it's great what they're doing.
And for them to say, we're going to run a business here, but it's going to be to help people. That's the main function.
Exactly.
And they're seeing God bless it and bless the lives of people. Great stuff.
Yeah.
Enjoyed your segment earlier on charcuterie.
Thank you. Charcuterie. Now you know.
Very nice.
Now you know.
I don't know what the word means, but I understand.
It's something in French that I don't really know. But anyways, they're worth it.
I look forward to incorporating it into my home.
Okay, there we go. You heard it here.
Thanks
All right,
for being
guys,
with us.
See you tomorrow.